Memories of the Great Flash Flood of '39 affected its survivors differently over the past 75 and a half years.
WYMT's Eric Eckstrom has the fourth and final part of his series, Washed Away, with more on how survivors and scientists see the flood's legacy.
Here in Rowan County, 25 people lost their lives during the flood of '39. And on the flood's 75th anniversary, the city of Moorhead decided to erect a plaque in honor of those lives lost. Now, no such plaque exists in both Breathitt County or Lewis County, where lives were lost as well. The survivors we spoke to hope that changes in the near future.
When I tell the story about Mom and Dad, I don't know about you, but can't you see them scared to death and all that water around them? And it was never far from my parents' mind, and never far.
Time, in its steady, unflinching flow, leaves behind all events, large and small. The same cannot be said of the human mind.
It comes back so clearly. The screaming and the crying and the rain and the flood and the water everywhere. It just all comes back.
In some cases, flashbacks would be blindsiding. Joanne McBrayer recalls an experience driving into a car wash with her mother, decades after she survived the flood by clinging onto a tree.
Water started coming forward, and my mother was going like this and jumping and hollering and squealing, and I thought she was going to even jump over into the back seat with my kids, and I couldn't calm her down.
There was one fear, however, one shared by everyone I spoke to: the fear that history might one day repeat itself.
Even today, if we have a really big storm and downpours of rain, it triggers my thoughts again about the '39 flood. And just hope and pray that it never happens again.
But you don't need to be a survivor to be invested in the answer. Could such a devastating flash flood visit the mountains again? We asked meteorologists at the National Weather Service that very question.
It could happen again. If we were to see 9 to 12 inches of rain in a 3 or 4 hour period in this day and age, we'd have a flash flood like no other that people would remember, other than somebody who maybe remembers this event from 1939.
But he says that answer comes with a critical caveat.
The likelihood of that is so small. The chances of it are, well less than 0.1% chance in any given year, and well less than that.
Such odds may be comforting, but they also spotlight just how exceptionally rare the flood of '39 truly was, one Kentucky may never see again.
Personally, it's almost unbelievable to think that that could happen, but it did. And you have to stop and remind yourself, it did happen. That this freak storm, this unusual event, this once in however many thousand years you want to say, happened in my community and devastated my community.
Not every story reads like a fairy tale. The flood of '39 washed away more than just the lives of its victims, but the innocence of so many who survived. And though they may speak of it with water-veiled eyes, survivors say perspectives gained from their stories are perhaps more profound than mere fairy tales.
People need to learn that even in difficult times, that by bonding together and helping each other, that you can overcome.
It's not something that came to an abrupt end, but out of that tragedy came triumph.
Yeah, those little years fly by, don't they?
I know.
Triumphs like love, marriage, children, and grandchildren, the rebuilding of downtown Moorhead and the Kentucky Mountain Bible College. They inspired music, novels, and poetry, and in the process, survivors say they learned perhaps the most important lesson of all. Here in eastern Kentucky, there are some things, not even the greatest flash floods, will ever wash away.
I remember the day it came, washed everything in a humbling blue. Highways and prairies the same, drowned in the flood like the prayers that we knew. And I lost all track of my time in some other current much faster than mine. It took down the trees by the river like advice that would never be given. I laid back down with my eyes closed. I let all the air out of my nose. I let all my dirt melt to glorious mud, and smiled for a while 6 feet under the flood.